Hello, I'm Helene Oberman, Managing Director of Interior Design Magazine, and I'd like to welcome you. Garrett Leather is a leader of premium leather products renowned for their exceptional craftsmanship and commitment to quality. Rich in heritage spanning several decades, Garrett Leather has become synonymous with luxury, elegance, and innovation. With me today to discuss their two latest introductions infused with color, form, and texture are Carolyn Perillo, Head of New Product Innovation for Garrett Leather, and my longtime friend, and I kind of have to say, probably everybody's best friend, Barry Richards, Studio Lead and Principal of Rockwell Group. Thank you guys so much for being here today.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks
Good
for having
friend.
us.
Yeah. Well, okay. So as we all know, especially because we're here together today, great design comes of great collaborations. And Barry, I'm aware for Rockwell Group, some of the best relationships come out of those long-term specified companies. So I'm curious, how did your relationship with Garrett Leather actually begin, and what led you to collaborate on these two new leather collections?
Let's just say, a lot of these happen organically. We specify products over and over again. We love working with the rep. They're often in the office. Their collections meet what we need. And so if they meet what we need, then we tell our other designers and they get used over and over again. So there's probably at least a dozen or more projects that we've used Garrett Leather for.
Yeah, it's always nice to find sort of like-minded friends, right, within the industry,
Yes.
and it's nice to have a manufacturer that has a very similar mission as Rockwell Group as a design firm. So, um,
Exactly.
Carolyn, I know for you, like you were questioning, which I'm sure a lot of people, it's like, how could Garrett Leather bring something new to leather, right? It's like just one of those things. So what was the design brief that you brought to Rockwell Group? And like, how did you sort of begin this development process with them? Was there a lot of back and forth? Did Rockwell Group already have some ideas that they were ready to present to you?
So we were able to virtually meet with the Rockwell Group team a few times before delivering them a design brief. They showed us some of their inspiration, fashion trends, and observations from environments and architectural design that appealed to them. So had physical samples that we were able to show them in person. We very quickly narrowed down to those two collections. And then from there, we were able to do a lot of back and forth with color selection and fine tune the treatments that we were putting for each of these collections. So um, it was a really nice and true collaboration.
It was kind of open-ended. It allowed us to kind of connect in a way fundamentally on a fairly regular basis, which is great. Zoom has kind of added that extra dimension of not just like one or two presentations, but really let's see what we're doing, where we are.
We know that every good product has a story to tell. And just curious what ultimately became the inspiration behind these two new leather collections.
Our designers have a unique, I think, an interesting point of view. What they are asking for is like not, the norm. So it pushes us to think about, pieces like how can we serve them with, a great collection they could use. And then, of course, David's always involved in all the kind of reviews and the design process of this. And his point that he keeps pushing us, you have to remind yourselves, is always to see something new, something we haven't done before. So what's the reason to just create another style, another collection, unless we can kind of impart it with a new point of view, a new kind of look, and really push the kind of the boundaries of what we're doing. And then we also start looking at fashion, because leather's in fashion, whether it's like a rock and roll jacket or, biker jacket or just that fashion jacket that has that kind of aged in look. It was showing up a little bit on the runways, but we began to think this is this kind of sensibility of rock and roll, pop music, how it kind of touches on the leather world. That was kind of our inspiration, and we took it from there. I think having that worn in look that feels authentic, that feels like it has history. So that was our key inspiration, and it took us in the way that kind of working with the craftsmanship, the artistry of all of the handwork that Garrett does.
And that's the thing, it's the beauty and the imperfections that happen with age. And so, Carolyn, I'm really curious, because the narrative that like Barry was saying, that comes around with this old, like familial sort of leather jacket comes out very much in the names, which is Cherish and Bravura. So, what do you feel is the meaning behind each of these, and really what do they convey to the designers who ultimately specify the products?
Cherish really simply drives home exactly what everybody loves about leather, the authentic look, something that is well worn. Bravura, it comes from a little bit of an art history background there, pertaining to paintings. It means painting in a style that brings out intentional brushwork or just showing the great technical skill of a painter. And that also applies to other venues, music, stuff like that. So it all kind of comes together, and we both felt that it just really conveyed the product really well.
I know like the whole brief was really like, let's do something that hasn't really been done in leather before. So what gives Cherish that unique quality that maybe people haven't already seen in leather offerings?
It's a combination of a couple of things. It's really that, a unique handwork that does look like it's been aged authentically. It has a real rich kind of, contrast of, tones within the kind of piece. But then at the same time, bringing in a little bit of pop and wants to have a range of colors. Colors are so important. Like we have to have all the colors are there. They have to look fresh, new. So light greens, kind of just beautiful. Take you to a green range that we haven't seen. A lot of blues, rich, every like 20 different colors. So I think that's the other piece, that it has a real durable quality to it at the same time. So it mixes that, simple hide that can be stretched and weathered and pulled together with a durable quality that, yes, you can wipe it clean. It will look the same. It will be long lasting.
Bravura, like this one has, obviously a very unique production process. So tell us a little bit about it, because it has this very unique artistic quality to it.
For Bravura, we had several prototype phases just for that brush tipping effect alone. We really wanted to be sure that it showcased the hand finishing, the great craftsmanship, and the technical skill that we do have available to us at our local finishing facility. So we just wanted to be sure that brush tipping was done in a way that still is very authentic, not too homogenous, as Barry had mentioned before, and just really wanted to bring that little bit of an edge to the collections and like maybe drive home that rocker feel too.
We want to use materials in a feature way, and Bravura has this more of a feature-like quality. It's that star. It's like Billy Idol. It's like Katy Perry. It's the kind of star performance in your design and your overall layering of materials. So that Bravura is that, that rock and roll persona, that pop persona that stands out. So that's, it has a little more drama to it, a little more life. So it's, going to be a piece that you could use in a way that'll be a feature element in a project.
Barry, I know you really, especially when it comes to Cherish, you really talked about the beautiful and wide range of colorways. But whether it's Barry or Carolyn, I'm curious with Bravura, because it feels so special. Is that why you kind of limited that specific collection to 4 colorways?
Yeah, we knew because of the intensive time process to finish this leather, that went into the thought process of just limiting that to 4 colorways as well. But it was also because we knew it would be something that would be on feature or statement pieces. So we wanted those 4 colors to be classic and then still be able to bring that hint of unexpected.
Yeah, exactly. I think we really pushed to kind of have Bravura stay in the mix because it was probably the more challenging of the 2 collections, and it was not going to be something for everyone, so it didn't have to have colors for everyone. In a way that feels usable and speccable, and has a wide range. So we were fine with this going with limited order because it made sense for that approach.
Carolyn, I kind of wanted to talk about something that's always top of mind for most designers, which is sustainability. And, we know that leather is a byproduct of the meat industry and is already part of this circular economy. But, how are products from Garrett Leather, able to really meet the sort of strong sustainability specification needs that most designers are demanding?
So there are a number of ways that we can and that we still are working to meet those specifications. Kind of going to list them out here for you, but some of them are related to our raw materials sourcing, which just makes those inherently highly sustainable, especially thinking about using leather rather than some petroleum-based materials and things like that. Another way is our Declare LBC Red List free and approved designations. We are working through that certification, and we have, I believe, just about 20 collections in that database right now, and we're still pursuing working with that certification. It's just, we find it's a helpful tool for transparency for a lot of designers in the industries that we reach. Another rating we prioritize is Green Guard Gold, which is just a low emissions rating, and we always prioritize it for all of our collections. I do want to say too, we are now proudly participating in UPS's carbon offset program. So all of our samples and orders that ship through them are carbon neutral. And then just lastly, it's just, I feel like it's probably obvious, but we consider just projects focuses being on longevity and adaptability. So we consider that when we have the decisions that we make during product development. So
For sure. And I think this really probably goes back to what Barry was saying, is that you really are creating these long lasting, durable products. And, perhaps people don't always equate that with leather, but like certainly it's an education process.
yes.
Um, Very well. I'm sure sustainability is top of mind for the design team at Rockwell Group, and I know you also speak about the fact that behind yourself, you're on the product development team, but you have a whole team, obviously, of interior designers and architects that are part of the group. So, how do you ultimately see your team and other designers specifying, and what type of projects do you see these two new collections in?
Well, what I learned really early from our designers was, they wanted, things that they could customize from the very beginning. They wanted, products that they could adapt into their designs. And so rather than coming with, here is a set look and you have to use it this way, that there's enough range of colors and a couple of styles that they can kind of adapt it into. So everything you touch, every layer that's a part of our design wants to be really thought about and communicates part of the story. So we're really creating tools for our designers, and as we do that, we hope it's tools for a whole range of designers outside of Rockwell Group.
I want to say, well, congratulations, Barry and Carolyn and both your teams for two really beautiful new collections. And of course, I want to say thank you for your time and your insight into Cherish and Bravura. And of course, to our lovely audience, please make sure to check out the Garrett Leather website to learn more. So thank you guys. And I want to say happy anniversary to Rockwell Group.